Hey, great Sunday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville. And hey, a happy Father's Day to everyone out there. It was an interesting kind of day. I didn't spend too much time outside, but I'm going to think and I'm going to say that it was a kind of a warmish kind of type of day. And but again, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. We have with us tonight, Dr. James Wittenberg. And Dr. Wittenberg, it's great to have you on tonight.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And of course, we got Frankie. Frankie, how you doing, Frankie?
Good evening, Erasmo. Good evening, Doctor. Hello, world. Happy Father's Day to all the dads and, of course, the moms who have a double role in our lives. It's been an awesome Sunday. A lot to talk about today. A lot of questions that we have for the doctor, especially during this time of uncertainty with this COVID-19 crisis. One thing I do want to stress out, Erasmo, is that we did post in regards to the scholarship that Brownsville Talk is initiating. So go to our page if you haven't already. The winners will be announced July the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So look at the details. It's a great way for us to give back in a small way. So very excited about the scholarship and very excited for tonight to have the doctor on. So thank you, Erasmo, for having me.
Well, Frankie, can you give a quick view of what people need to do real quick in regards to the scholarship? I know because I've started to get flooded with a lot of different little comments out there in regards to what's going on. So just a quick overview so people know what's going on.
Sure. The scholarship is going to be an essay of how this money, the scholarship money, would help the education or career of the individual. Very simple. Just, type out an essay. We're providing our email, brownsvilletalk@gmail.com. The deadline is the 4th of July weekend, and we will be announcing the winner a week after. So again, 2 winners will be receiving $500 scholarship money. So it's very easy. Pen an essay, how this money would help you with your education or with your career. It's something that we want to, help out the students. They have to be students, So again, any questions, any concerns, go ahead and email myself or Erasmo in regards to this scholarship.
Well, thanks so much. And again, all students are encouraged to apply. Doesn't necessarily mean high school students. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Great. And again, guys, great evening. And thank you all for being here. Again, we have Dr. James Wittenberg. Dr. James Wittenberg is an associate professor of counseling at UTRGV. I don't know why I always want to say UTB TSC, but it's UTRGV, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, and a licensed professional counselor, supervisor at Healthfelt Minds Counseling. And again, it really is an honor. And again, it's very, very important. And I'm very glad that you're here tonight, Dr. Wittenberg, because, one of the things I think that is most concerning, and we've talked a little bit about it on here, is, the anxiety, the stress, and everything that individuals are having to deal with in regards to, COVID-19 and, and how it starts to affect individuals' lives. What can you tell us about COVID-19 in your practice, sir?
I'm seeing a lot of different types of issues with clients coming in to the office, both new and returning clients who have some anxiety symptoms, depression, phobia, obsessive compulsive symptoms. And also we're seeing a lot of difficulties at home because there was so much shelter in place. We were seeing a rise in child abuse, domestic violence, substance abuse, and other types of addictions such as internet addiction and even pornography addiction. So there's just been kind of a wide range of different issues that have come through my office.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here. And there's a lot of different facets that we could hope, to pick your brains, since we do have you on here. And, we're going to do our best to do it. And one of the, I guess we'll start off with the numbers. We haven't received any numbers from Cameron County because on Sunday they seem not to be producing any numbers. But we did receive numbers from Hidalgo County. Hidalgo County does have 133 positives with 1 death. In regards to the death, it was a very young, a 50-year-old man from Mission with underlying medical conditions. again, one of the things that we were speaking about with Dr. Wittenberg before coming on was how it's having underlying medical conditions here in the area in itself probably describes a good old chunk of everyone out here. So I mean, in regards to the numbers and how they're increasing, we also learned that in I think Travis County, they reported the highest number they'd ever reported. I think Dallas was at 408. I think Tarrant County was, again, blown up out there. Doctor, what is the sentiment in regards to constantly seeing these numbers, keeping on going? What do they generate in a lot of the individuals out there? What should they generate?
One thing that I've been countering with in regard to my clients is what we refer to as all or nothing thinking. So some clients are having the emotional issues because they're on one extreme or the other. Either they're very afraid and they've hoarded toilet paper and water and they don't want to leave their home and they're scared to death, or they believe it's all a hoax and they don't, they'll go out and do whatever, not wear their mask. And we need to be somewhere in between where we're going to be healthy and safe.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Again, one of the things that we've seen this weekend was conflicting videos of sorts. We did see, I think it was on Friday, we did see a video from Dr. Bruce Liebert out of Harlingen. And then today, Dr. Amir Hassan, I think also from Harlingen, came and gave an opposite view. Dr. Liebert was of the opinion that COVID-19 was behind us. And, that the county judge, by implementing a lot of new restrictions or rehashing a lot of the restrictions that we had to vote, was not doing a great job. Dr. Amir Hassan came out today with his own video and said, no, face coverings are important. It is not behind us. We're still fighting this. Dr. Wittenberg, do these type of conflicting messages coming from medical personnel, doctors, scientists, does this confuse people out there?
Absolutely. A lot of people, they're not sure what to think. And so they make very hasty decisions as a result. And I watched both of the videos that you're referring to. And I remember the one doctor having the tennis racket and showing how that was representing a mask and how the virus could just easily flow through that. And then, of course, the other doctor who came on later from Harlingen or McAllen, I can't remember which was which, but he was completely the opposite, that we need to be cautious and careful. And again, it's like I was saying earlier, this all or nothing thinking. I mean, we really shouldn't be on one extreme or the other. We should just try to be smart and to be safe and follow the CDC guidelines. Stay at home when we can, wear a mask if we have to go out, and keep their physical distance, and try to keep the vulnerable population safe, and also to flatten the curve. And I think that's another thing. A lot of people don't understand what flatten the curve means. And by flattening the curve, what we're doing, we're saying we have this curve of the virus, and this curve is going to represent all the people that are going to get sick. And supposedly for herd immunity, 60% of the population very well may get it. We don't know how they'll react to it. But what we're going to do, instead of having all that 60% get sick all at once, we're going to flatten the curve and let that 60%, potentially get ill over a long period of time, so that our hospitals aren't overwhelmed. That is the problem. And that could make things much worse for the 2% or whatever low percent of individuals are going to get, potentially deathly ill. We want to do as much as we can.
During this time, doctor, have you seen an increase in patients' anxiety? And if so, what recommendations do you give us? We've been talking about the numbers, the spike in numbers. We're still possibly going through our first. We have yet to peak. What advice would you give us, the community, to cope with this pandemic?
First, to talk about it with somebody. know your support network, your friends or close family members who you trust to be able to confide in these feelings that you have. And if your emotions are getting the best of you to the point where it's interfering with your work or your relationships with close friends and family members, or your education, then consider seeking mental help and getting help from a mental health professional.
Well, I agree completely. One of the things that we've been dealing with in regards to the new mandates in regards to the face coverings, which we talked about, something that Dr. Amir Hassan, I'm sorry, Dr. Amir Hassan mentioned today. And again, I'm going to recommend everyone go out there and go watch Dr. Amir Hassan's video. It's a very quick one, very short one. It is on my page, and it's also on Dr. Hassan's page. But please go look at it. Again, one of the reasons why I opted to put up there Dr. Lieber's message, his video out there, was I wanted to give people, the opportunity to have both sides of the coin. With that said, one of the things that I've been very constant on is we want you to do your own research. We want you to go out there and make your own determination based on what you feel would be the best steps to take in regards to protecting and not only yourself, but your family and your loved ones that you come in to visit with. With that said, Doctor, one of the things that Dr. Liebert was calling out against Judge Trevino for reinstating a lot of the usage of the face masks, especially at businesses. So no shoes, no shirt, no face masks, no service. So with that said, one of the things that we did experience was the shelter in place. Which a lot of people were questioning whether we should bring that back or we should not bring that back. We're not going to discuss that. But what issues were you able to see, or do you know about with individuals while they were sheltering in place? I mean, did they suffer anything or any underlying conditions in regards to being in shelter in place?
Definitely. I think a lot of the clients that I've talked to, and even some of my interns that I supervise, and some of my students at the university, would find themselves watching the news a little too much, and that would increase the levels of anxiety and fear, and interfere with sleep. So either insomnia or sleeping too much. Also with appetite, either eating too much or not eating sufficiently enough to stay healthy. So it began to interfere, and also being socially isolated. I think I prefer the term physical distancing rather than social distancing, because we can be in touch with each other like we are right now across webcam. I can communicate with family in other states, for example. You don't have to be alone and by yourself. The physical distancing is a different story.
Good. Doctor, what do you think about the governor saying the kids, we'll go into the school. I wanted to say that, but since it's already up there, Doctor, what do you think about the governor saying the kids will be able to go back to school in the fall?
I mean, it is taking a chance. In my opinion, sometimes politicians try to keep everybody happy. So, saying that they can go back to school, but they're not going to enforce masks, yada, yada. I mean, that's kind of straddling the fence. But, just from what I've read and the possibilities of what several different school districts are going to do, let's say, for example, in X classroom, there's 30 students. Well, approximately 30% parents are saying they don't want their kids back in school. So that 1/3 of the students is going to be at home. So that leaves another 2/3. Well, if they do this AB schedule that rotates, whether it's Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, or if it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday with Group A and Group B, then you only have 1/3 of the student population in the school. So you're able to do much more of the physical distancing for that reason. Maybe that is a safe way to play it. I mean, time will tell, but it's not only the children that we have to consider. We have also all the employees who are there, and not only that, but in our region of the country, there's a lot of extended family that live in the homes.
Yes.
So these kids and employees are going to go home to aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, and others who are vulnerable populations, and that is the concern.
Doctor, in regards to the schools, there have been discussions how the school district will try its best to have the students and the teachers in one classroom for the whole school day. Could you talk to us about how that could possibly affect our mental health if we're isolated in a room for 8 hours of the day without the physical education in our curriculum? Is that something that we should be worried about in the future?
It can be a concern. I think with our situation, though, it's probably best, that we attempt to do that, especially with younger children whose immune systems might be lower. So, and that may be easier to do in elementary schools than middle schools or high schools. High schools, I don't see how they possibly could do that. But in the elementaries, for sure. And yes, socialization is important. In addition to our curriculum, children learn a lot of different things at school that they don't get at home. Getting along with others, sharing, and cooperative learning, those kinds of things, how to resolve conflict. Those issues are important too. And if our students are not exposed to other students outside of just a single classroom, they may not have that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree, and that has been one of the concerns that has been shared to me in regards to the lessening in regards to a lot of the different skills that they learn by socially one to another. But one thing that you did mention, Doctor, I think it's very important, is that because of the situation that we find ourselves in, it's really important, to find ways to start to become a little bit creative in regards to, trying to, and one of the things that I was sharing with individuals out there, when we were doing the shelter in place, I tell a lot of my friends out here, I'd say, guys, be creative, use your imagination, start to develop other type of skills in order to work around the situation that we're in. One of the things that I'd recommended, like, guys, if you're going to be locked up, make videos of you cooking, of you changing a tire, something, in order to keep your mind busy, and also another means of being able to interact with individuals. Now, in regards to Diana's question, is there any word on BISD and charter schools increasing their at-risk counselors? The answer is very simple. The answer is absolutely, positively no. And I can speak for BISD. Actually, in the last budget meeting, what they actually spoke about was reducing the number of counselors. And again, it's going to be an issue. But that, besides not getting a significant pay increase, or paying them for hazard pay, or equal pay in regards to a lot of the different stipends that were out there, is a big mistake. I mean, every time there is a crisis, one of the first individuals that they call, and I know for a fact, because when we used to have, and Doctor, you're not going to let me lie, when we had individuals in our high schools that committed suicides, the first people that we call are our mental health people, are our counselors, because it's so very important. And, we'd send a task force out, not only to the school, but we send them also on to the parent's house, any family member out there that was needing of these special services. So with that said, in regards to the pandemic that we're living now, and not only the pandemic, because the mindset was, well, it's going to affect other people, it's not going to affect us. But we've seen just recently how bringing teachers back onto campus was a huge mistake, because individuals started testing positive. How bringing our students back to the schools was a gigantic mistake, especially when we hadn't peaked, when we're in the middle of the hot spot. I mean, it's a mistake. And then what started to happen? Boom, started to produce positives. But going into the mental health aspect, again, we need more counselors at the schools. But Doctor, how important are counselors during crisis situations for our students, our teachers, and our parents?
Counselors are vital. School counselors are very important components in any kind of crisis intervention. They're the frontline individuals who are there and know the students, know the families, know the employees in the building. And in the case where there's such a death of a student, for example, they may bring in counselors from another cluster or from another school, because the counselors at that school may have known that student and they may be suffering as well. it's very difficult. I mean, I remember several years ago when I used to be a school counselor in BISD. And when we had the Cummings Middle School incident, there was a large group of us who served as crisis intervention counselors. And for a little over 2 weeks, we were involved in talking to students and employees and even parents about what had happened with that incident. And I mean, it was taxing even on us. We had to have our own counselor come and talk to us so we could debrief. I mean, it was traumatic for us. I remember one time specifically, my wife was emptying dog food into a metal food dish, and it kind of clanked, and I kind of jumped. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, well, I've been talking about, gunshots and all of this for 2 weeks, and so even I was a little jumpy. So secondary trauma, can happen to counselors as well. It's very important that we have counselors there. And the question was asked about the at-risk counselors. At-risk counselors typically are funded through a specific program, and there's only X number of counselors that are funded through that particular grant. So increasing at-risk counselors, no, that's not going to happen, unfortunately, unless somebody else out there wants to write a grant.
How is this going to affect the students and the teachers moving forward? I know it's a hypothetical question, but what would be your recommendation to the counselors that we have now in dealing with the students coming in and dealing with this crisis?
First and foremost, take care of yourself. While you have this time off, spend your time with your family, disengage and get away and take care of yourself. If you have any kinds of issues that may be interfering in your life, and whether it's a relationship issue or a little bit of anxiety or whatever it might be, get some help and take care of yourself. You're not going to be able to take care of your students and your clients unless your slate is clean first. So that's the first and most important thing. The second thing I would recommend is as much professional development as you possibly can get. There are webinars out there. Many of them are free on mental health and related to COVID. You can read professional journal articles, even websites. You can even Google some of these things. If you have questions, just be curious and engage in that professional development as well. But keeping that balance between increasing our competency and making sure that we're current on the issues and the techniques and the treatments that we use with students and clients, and also balancing that with the time that we spend with our families and for ourselves too. We have to take care of ourselves. A lot of times counselors take care of themselves last, and then they end up in a pickle with their own mental health.
Yeah. And Noe, we did talk a little bit about Dr. Liebert's statement at first. You might have missed it. A quick wrap up, Dr. Wittenberg, in regards to Dr. Liebert's statement he made about Judge Trevino's latest COVID update.
I don't know that I agree with what he said. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and as I mentioned earlier, I think it's best that we don't have this all or nothing thinking that COVID is behind us and we don't have to worry about it, or on the other extreme that we need to panic and we need to hoard toilet paper and water and not leave our homes. It's somewhere in the middle where we just follow the CDC guidelines. We try our best to be safe. We stay home as much as we can. If we have to go out and work, we physically distance. We wear a mask. We protect our vulnerable populations. That's what I recommend.
I agree. Leroy, Leroy asked the question in regards to why it's taking so long to get the results back. And I'm going to say, Leroy, that I don't know if you've seen the videos or in regards to the reporting as to the big lines that are out there. There are hundreds and hundreds of people going out there to get tested. I think right now the county is overwhelmed. I think Dr. Ed Hernandez is doing a great job out there at the sports park, but they're overwhelmed. I think UTRGV, with their own COVID testing, have found themselves overwhelmed. Actually, the federal government, the Army was also doing testing down here, and I think that they're also overwhelmed. So I'm going to think that that's partially the reason why. But with that said, Leroy, my recommendation suggestion is continue to self-quarantine, and please wait for the results, your results and your family's results. Again, today we had 3 deaths here in Brownsville. I'm sorry, 3 deaths in Brownsville. And again, we're not going to hear about them for another week, another 2 weeks. I mean, just Thursday, we did learn because Justice RGV, that page, they did post in regards to the newborn, the newborn who passed away because of COVID-19. Recently learned that, another a 21-year-old this morning, passed away. And again, our thoughts and prayers with the family members. But the reason that I think, and Dr. Wittenberg, the reason that I think it's important for us to have expedient information in regards to the numbers is because people will start to act, we're hoping, with a little bit more caution. Because right now, it seems like it's a free-for-all out there. Everyone's out there just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So how important is it to have expedient numbers out there, Doctor?
Well, I think it certainly would ease a lot of people's anxiety. I know some people are, look for that every night. It's like 9 o'clock. Why haven't they posted it yet? Why does Hidalgo County have their numbers and Cameron County doesn't? It's important so that we can make informed decisions, and also that we get it in a timely manner so people don't panic. And that's happening a little bit right now. I mean, just as soon as they put out the order saying that in businesses everybody had to wear a mask, people began to panic again. So I think part of having that information and accurate information is important. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of the reason why. Maybe Cameron County's wanting to make sure that the information that they put out is accurate.
Would you suggest, Doctor, we've been talking about people's anxiety during this uncertain time of the crisis. Would you recommend for, people who aren't experiencing anxiety, but do wish to seek some sort of guidance or counseling? Would you suggest individuals to seek out help, or would that be too much of a stress for our counselors?
I don't think it would be too much of a stress for the counselors. I mean, if you feel like you need help, seek it out. Absolutely.
Great. Doctor, how would you explain to children about the severity of the health situation we're in?
You need to keep it in terms and in language that they understand. So I do know, for example, when we first had the shelter in place and schools closed down, a friend of mine asked her child what they thought about not going to school. And the response was, well, we're not going to school because we don't have any toilet paper in the school. So that, we need to talk to our kids and explain in words that they can understand. It's important because otherwise they'll have misinformation, they'll pass it on to others, and it increases their anxiety and their fear as well. And because they can't necessarily use the words that adults use, they may express themselves with somatic symptoms like my stomach hurts and I have a headache, when actually they're experiencing fear or anxiety.
One of the things that we've experienced down here, Maria makes us say, watch BISD, say that if we want to keep our kids home and we can, we have to do it is pick up material. All after this live with the doctor. Let me tell you, one of the other things, Dr. Wittenberg, that we experienced was while school basically shut down in regards to going back on campus after spring break vacation, we started to do distant learning. Distant learning started to become something that was very, 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 very stressful for parents. For parents and for teachers alike. Let's talk about teachers first. Doctor, with teachers, one of the things that increased was the number of teachers who found themselves on anxiety medication because of the extra stress that was placed on them. Now, taking into consideration, some of these teachers have children of their own who are also struggling in regards to getting their assignments turned in and everything else, and them being parents and teachers only added to it. Tell us a little bit about teachers' anxiety and going through distant learning, Doctor.
Absolutely, and I know that because we have our 9-year-old son at home, and it's very challenging doing that distance learning. And I can only imagine a teacher who's having to do that with all these other students, in addition to having their own kids, and how stressful that must be. And then on top of that, we have the technology. We have the technology to be able to do this electronically, but having teachers having to work with paper packets and having parents go pick up paper packets that potentially could be contaminated, and the anxiety that comes up from that. I mean, I don't understand why everything can't be done electronically. And I do understand that maybe some children and some families don't have access to that technology, but it just seems like there has to be a better way. And I know we got caught like right in the middle of the semester, and there wasn't a lot of time to plan, and maybe there wasn't something specific in place that they had ready, and they were doing the best they could. But I'm hoping that when school starts in the fall, that they will have something much better in place for those that are going to be doing distance learning.
One of the concerns, doctor, that I've had recently in speaking with certain teachers is our SPED students. In my opinion, we are going to be walking the fine line, because they are the ones that need that extra care and interaction with our teachers. What recommendation would you have, number one, for the SPED teachers and for BISD? What's something as a counselor would you recommend going into this new school year?
Again, the professional development is very important, and how to work with special populations and using distance learning. Also taking into account if they're going to be splitting groups of students. Maybe there are some students who need to be physically at the school more frequently than others. We also have to consider those students and if there are vulnerable populations at home. So, I mean, there's just a whole lot of different factors that go into that. And we need to think very carefully about the entire family unit for each individual student. I know it's a lot, but we really, really do.
Good evening. How come healthcare professionals are not getting paid hazard pay and all government employees are? Us providers are definitely at risk by taking care of COVID patients. Do you want to take a shot at that, doctor? Or you want me to respond to that one?
Well, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. I'm just a licensed professional counselor and a professor at the university. So I can't speak to the medical aspect and healthcare and hazard pay. As far as mental health, it's not going to happen. We were fortunate enough that our governor allowed the leeway for us to do telehealth in the same manner that we were doing face-to-face therapy for individuals, and I hope that that's going to be extended again.
I hope so too. And Luis, it's very unfortunate because, again, there should be hazard pay out there, not only for, it's just my opinion, there should be hazard pay not only for teachers, not only for the medical professionals out there who are, basically literally on the front line, but also for our teachers, our counselors, and our individuals that are having all this interaction with a lot of our students. One of the things that the school district tried to do is give a little pay increase, a little pay bump for individuals that are coming in to serve the food, which is great. I mean, it's great. But then all of a sudden they wanted to end it. I don't see why they wanted to end it. They should have used some of that big old money that they received for COVID-19 down here, which came up to about $19 million. I mean, what did they do with the money? Specifically, should have gone back to the personnel, back to the individuals who were placed through hell out of no fault of their own. I mean, a lot of this has to do with the sorry-ass leadership that we have at the district. And, this will be my own soapbox. I'm not including anyone on here. But again, the superintendent and the school board failed us. They failed us. They failed the community. They failed the teachers, and they failed the students. Simple as pie. Again, they received money from the federal government. They received money from the state government. Start dishing out the cash to the people that have needed the most and the people who have been out there in front of the most. If you were sent home from work because someone tested positive that you work with, are you supposed to quarantine until you go and test, or can you go out? No. Quarantine. Don't go out and about. Stay home. Asymptomatic. Stay home. Don't go out.
Doctor, during these times, recently with all this online that the young kids have been doing, it seems like if they are doing it even more so now that they have a lot more time at home, is it some sort of could this affect us mentally, our mental health, if our students, if our kids are on the TV playing video games a lot more than compared to being out? Would you what exercises would you recommend in order for us to avoid having our students or our kids being on the PlayStation for far too long?
Still, I mean, going outside and getting fresh air and getting vitamin D from the sun, getting some exercise, sweating a little bit, running a little bit, playing is very important. It's important to our kids for their health in many different reasons. Also, spending too much time with technology and too much time on television and playing video games, it's not necessarily healthy either. And of course, you know, we've done that quite a bit with our son, especially during this time. Let him be on the internet and playing games and whatnot. But he's also doing a lot of Zooming. See, that's the other thing to consider. While they're in school and they're doing distance learning, they're on that even more. It can affect the child's vision. That's another important thing. So what you can do as far as the blue light of the computer to minimize potential damage that can be done to the child's eyes is important. But they've got to get outside and get their exercise as well. It's balance. You know, you can have too much of a bad thing. You can even have too much of a good thing. So have that balance of being able to go outside, even though you're not going to be able to maybe necessarily play with a lot of other kids, but you're going to be able to play outside yourself.
Balance is very, very important. In this climate of contagion, how can people go into schools without anxiety, doctor?
Every person is different. Some people have very little to no anxiety over much of anything, and others get very anxious over little bitty things. So it's kind of a mixed bag. So what we have to develop are these coping skills that counselors and other mental health professionals can teach. Deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, grounding techniques, even guided imagery. Some will engage in meditation and yoga. Whatever it takes, those kinds of things can help to reduce anxiety, and there are other things that can be done as well.
Doctor, one of the things, when are we starting school? Again, it's going to be probably mid-August. We don't know yet. They haven't voted on the calendar yet, and then the board hasn't voted on the calendar yet. So again, we don't know. Whatever time is needed, and like Erasmo said, there's a lot to do at home, a lot. One of the things that we grew up with as Mexicans is like, I'm bored. I'm bored. You're bored. Well, let me put you to cut the grass and go out there and do this. And said, "Hello, bored." No bored. We never said we're bored. Yes, please. It's not black and white. Be cautious. Do not limit your body from creating the antibodies by not going outdoors. Practice distancing, but your body needs vitamin D and to be mentally sane. 100%, darling. You are spot on. Are there any mental health behaviors involved with hoarding?
Potentially could be. It depends. Many mental health conditions are not considered a mental illness necessarily unless they're causing significant distress or impairment in the person's daily functioning. In other words, they having a hard time going to work, having a hard time going to school, having a hard time with their social relationships or familial relationships. So, you know, being cautious and careful and buying lots of toilet paper and water isn't necessarily a mental health issue per se, unless it's interfering with the person's personal life. The concern is, though, if person A has 3 months supply of their toilet paper and bottled water and person B has none. So that's the concern. If we don't do this hoarding, then everybody should be able to have enough of what they need. But also the concern is, well, is it going to be so bad that I can't go out? And so then that's why people are buying these things in bulk. So I can kind of see it from different perspectives.
Why is there, Rodney, behave. Why is there so much concern about schools opening up, but yet no one seems to care about the thousands of young people working at H-E-B, Walmart, Stripes, and that's the restaurant. Rodney, I think I'm personally concerned about everyone, but doctor, I mean, if you want to take a shot at it, I'm concerned about everyone.
I'm concerned about everyone too. But at the same time, what are the ages of the teenagers who can work in those places? And then what are the ages of the children who are in the schools? I would be more concerned about the children and younger adolescents who are not old enough to work, that who are in the schools, and they may not engage in their hand washing as they should, be as clean as they should, and then they bring that home to family members and to other vulnerable populations. That's probably why I'm not as concerned about the younger children in schools versus adolescents who may be working at H-E-B or Walmart, who hopefully are washing their hands like they should be.
What we found was that most BISD teachers have no clue how to work a computer. Rodney, you are 100% spot on this one. But even that caused a lot of anxiety with a lot of older teachers that are not as computer savvy, computer literate as many other teachers. So yeah, it is an issue. And it's something that, again, has yet to be addressed. Because I don't know if y'all have ever seen a lot of these little training courses or these certifications that they get in order to distant learn, and they are a joke. A joke. And I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but they are really just a joke. They just, we say in Spanish, se la sacaron de la manga. They just pulled it from the sleeve. They're like, oh, now you're certified. Well, wait a minute. What does that actually mean? Doesn't mean anything if they still can't use the damn computer. It does. President of the United States makes $400,000 a year, exactly as much as the superintendent. Brownsville, third poorest city in Texas. Brownsville is the poorest community in the nation, the fourth least educated. Check out check us out at Senior Pits. Invite to the Senior Pits. Murad Wellness. Congrats. Awesome. President Trump does not receive any pay. He donates his salary. Well, I wish the superintendent would donate a little bit out there, but he surely is held in the won't. So will the city center covering the cost of plasma collections for those willing to donate? I think plasma collection is actually free. I think they actually pay you for plasma collection around here. I know because there's always big lines downtown. I'm not sick. Mom and dad were, my prayers for your family, Leroy. God bless. Poverty level in Brownsville, 34.5. Income per capita, $13,556. And it's impressive. That's like a million times what the superintendent makes. I'm horrible at math. But I'm going to throw out numbers. Brownsville residents constant fight against new industry coming here. LNG, SpaceX. Part of the problem, Rodney, is I think a lot of people that make the biggest noise are some of these nut jobs out there. See, that's part of the problem, Rodney, because now, I mean, I'm out here, saying we need to put food on people's table. That causes anxiety too. Not being able to provide for your family causes anxiety too. Do we need business to come into Brownsville? Oh, yes. But look at, Rodney, look at who our leadership is listening to, for God's sakes. And I'm sorry, I don't even know what Dr. Wittenberg's take is on it, but I'm going to give you my spiel on it, Rodney. I mean, look at The Rock. It's just a rock. It's a rock. A rock. And we're having protests. We're having victory parties after they removed the damn rock. And no one has made a protest in regards to the insurmountable amount of PUB, of light, of increase. Nothing. No protest for BISD and them stealing millions and millions of our students' money. Nothing. Oh, but you got my LNG people out there constantly making protests and protests and protests. And the Brownsville Herald and Channel 4, Channel 23, they report trash. They report trash. They're trash. Sorry, Doctor. But, that's one of the other questions that was asked, and we were going to save it for right now, in regards to the protest with the rock. I mean, it was a rock. Now it's gone. But guess what? We still have racism. We still have individuals out there that feel offended. Doctor, is being offended also part of mental health?
Coping with that potentially could be. Yes, and we do deal with racism and discrimination issues, and it's not limited to minorities either.
No, because let me tell you, I'm going to make a confession. Sometimes when we were growing up, when I was going through junior high and high school, and we'd have like Anglo. Can I say white? When we had white kids out there, we were pretty mean to the white kids.
This is where I leave the studio. No, I'm kidding.
We were pretty mean to the white, but a lot of them they took it really well. You just never know because you make that as an excuse. No, well, they took it well. Maybe they didn't take it well. Back then we had like two African American families here in Brownsville, and Dwayne era aquí de la Villa Verde. He was from the projects. He would hang out with us, because we were poor kids. But we didn't see him as a black kid. We saw him as Dwayne, and we call him. We didn't call him the N-word, but we called him the N-word that's on the chalupa. El negro, pero that was amongst us friends, So we didn't even think about it as being racist. But now I wonder, and how did he feel, being the only African American kid that hung out with all these damn Mexicans? Me being one of those Mexicans. And again, I think racism works both ways. I don't know what it feels like to be a white person here in Brownsville, but it can't be that easy.
I haven't had that many issues myself personally, but I do know students who have had those issues. When I was a school counselor, there were kids who were bullied on the bus, and they were called, white boy, and a lot worse, of course. So yes, it definitely does go both ways. Why can't we all just be members of the human race? Why does anything else have to come into play?
Yeah,
hopefully one day.
Well, right, and again, and I'm going to say it, I think, because I think I feel the sentiment. I'm pretty in tune with the sentiment of the community. Every so often we'll get a little someone like Loftus going out there. Oh well, Erasmo is just full of hate. Not full of hate. People know me very well, and I'm very in tune with a lot of individuals in the community, and I want to believe that our community is not very racist. We've had a lot of different groups come in. I remember back in the 80s, we had a lot of Asian people come in, a lot of Philippine individuals come and work at our hospitals as nurses. Yeah, beautiful people, great people. And, I think one of the things about our community here in the city of Brownsville is that, we open our arms out there to everyone, and, you're always going to get a lot of the curious people that, want to ask, do white people eat menudo? Or hey, do y'all Asians, do y'all like barbacoa? Or, stuff like that, I guess. But outside of that, I don't think that people down here ridiculous. Anxiety meds for stress of grading papers. How about cognitive therapy instead? Save that for people with real mental problems whose lives are unmanageable due to anxiety. When quality of life is truly affected. Not a minor inconvenience, like extra work. Mike, do you need to make an appointment with Dr. Wittenberg? Inbox me. I'll send you his phone number. Make an appointment. Mike. I know it's a comparison. The superintendent makes 400,000. I know. I'm just cheesy with you, Mike. Thank you, Dr. Wittenberg. Truly appreciate your advice. Thank you. Fox Hollow Nursing Home needs accountability for their negligence. Patients have no advocates for their well-being, especially with exclusion. I'm going to say this about Fox Hollow, Dino. And again, you know that I've been very, very, very hard on nursing homes. I've been very, very hard in regards to producing numbers. Fox Hollow has been a little bit proactive in throwing out there the numbers. Now, in regards to the accountability for their negligence, that is something that's going to be brought up, I would say, later on by the county, by the city, or maybe even the court system. But with that said, I will say that Fox has been very forthcoming in regards to producing quick numbers in that respect. But going on to what Dino's comment, Dr. Wittenberg, one of the questions that I had was one of the things that a lot of our community members are experiencing is that they haven't seen their loved ones for months now. They haven't seen their loved ones for months because they can't go into the nursing homes. And, we've seen the different pictures out there and the different videos of individuals, saying hi to their loved ones through windows and stuff. And it's just not the same, doctor. what has your experience been in regards to individuals, family members who are going through this really, really tough situation?
Um, I've been fortunate enough, I guess I don't know that many people who are in that situation, but I do have a few coworkers in particular whose parents are in assisted living facilities or nursing homes, and it's hard. It's very hard, but we have to keep them safe. And I know it's very difficult having to go up to the window and wave, or they're touching the window with their hands on one side, their loved one's hands on the other side, or they're trying to FaceTime and whatnot, but for loved ones who are not able to even communicate, and to not be able to go in and see them, that's got to be just so tough, And I would just encourage people who are in that situation to make sure that you have someone you can talk to, a friend, a family member, or a counselor, if it's at that level of severity. Reach out to someone. We're willing to help you.
We were previously discussing, Doctor. How is it that individuals, patients could reach out to you? Are you doing more teleconference, tele meetings due to this COVID-19 crisis?
The last time I saw a client face to face was the first week of March. I've been doing telehealth ever since, and I'm planning to continue using only telehealth in the foreseeable future, at least until there's a vaccine that has been disseminated and we definitely flatten the curve or get close to some herd immunity. I'm going to be. I don't want to take the chance. Again, it's not that I'm afraid of catching COVID from a client. I'm afraid potentially of one of us taking it and exposing a vulnerable person to it. That is the concern. And not only that, but I work in a shared office space, and there's like 30 offices in the building with attorneys and insurance agents and other counselors and other individuals. And if we were all seeing our clients, it would not be good. And we're required, everyone in our building has to wear a mask. And very few of us are actually seeing clients face to face. Most of us are doing work, telephone, or via live internet webcam, as we're doing right now. And that's exactly what I'm doing with my clients.
Patients
I'm not seeing any face to face.
Patients in nursing home are sitting ducks, praying not to be victimized by additional negligence. Let me tell you, Dino, my prayers for the individuals that have. Doctor, I took 2 people to get tested at Sports Park and watched the nurse test one. Well, guys, and immediately test the other without changing gloves in between, even though he has swabbing the nose directly under. How concerned should we be about getting transfer contamination on tests like these, showing false positives or negatives, or worse? What if they are not changing gloves after each test? Shouldn't they be? Yes, they should be. Guys, one of the first things that we did throw out there, I don't know if you saw it in one of my posts, Dr. Winterberg, the first thing we did was in regards to be very cautious with gloves. Guys, you cannot be using gloves like crazy people. Don't be crazy people and use gloves all day. Use the same gloves. Pick up your phone, pick up the mouse pad, pick up the water bottle, pick out my little cigars that look like cookies or my cookies that look like cigars. And, you're touching everything and you're just cross-contamination. We've said it before, guys. Do not do that. And if they're doing that out there, Joe, my recommendation, suggestion would be bring it to their attention and say, guys, you need to stop doing that crap, no?
Swah, swah! Doctor, do you think that we have been told that we are causing mass hysteria, that we're scaring people? Would you recommend for individuals to be giving information, or should we ease off and due to everybody having a lot more anxiety, would you welcome the public getting information in regards to the COVID-19 numbers and the death rates that we've been experiencing here locally?
Absolutely. I want to know. I want to know what's going on. I like to hear things from all different perspectives, though. So, for example, the 2 medical doctors that were mentioned earlier and their opposite viewpoints, to listen to both of them, take them with a grain of salt or with something else, and deciding for yourself. And if it is causing anxiety or fear in individuals, again, talk to somebody. talk to somebody, and also limit yourself. You know, it's not healthy to have CNN or Fox News on 24/7 during the whole pandemic and seeing nothing but news about the pandemic all day long. You know, that's not healthy either. So pick and choose the times when you're going to tune in, such as 9 o'clock at night to Brownsville Talk, or whenever that's going to be. So, you know, that's something that can be done as well. But I don't see it necessarily causing a panic, and everybody's going to react differently too. Some people, maybe if they watch that, maybe they will get anxious. Others, maybe no.
Manny, let me tell you, that's because those are activists not from this area, and we allowed it to happen. Manny, our elected officials allowed it to happen. And let me tell you, Manny, you know, I've had not even talks, but a lot of these individuals have responded to me not even posting about anything. And they are some of the rudest individuals I've ever seen on social media. These are the individuals that come, that you're right, they are from out of town. They're not from here. They don't know our culture. They don't know our people. And they want to dictate what we should do with the city of Brownsville. Let me tell you, I am so sick and tired of these individuals because they think that their opinions are the only ones that actually matter one bit. And if you try to express your opinion, you're a hater, you're a racist, you're just spreading lies, you're a horrible person, and they start calling you every single name in the book. I made a comment on, can't even remember where, on that Brownsville Herald little protest, and all of a sudden I got these little kids out there. Okay, you're terrible, okay, you're the worst. We're like, child, you're not even from here, child. And again, you know, there's no respect for our First Amendment right. There's no freedom of speech unless you're speaking their language. But if you speak any opinion that goes against their left way mega leftist ideas or ideals, then you're the scourge of the earth. You know, I have a right to believe that the rock is just a damn rock. That's my right to believe. And if they want to think that, removing the rock is going to solve every single problem in the nation, in the country, well, God bless them. I can respect that. But I don't find their opinion any less important than mine. They shouldn't find my opinion any less than mine. So, yeah, I'm tired of all these damn little activists coming in from out of town trying to dictate how we should believe, feel, or act. It's madness. And it is the city commission's fault for falling prey to it. Now they want to remove Robert E. Lee Youth Center. That's crazy. They wanted to destroy Stillman House because Charles Stillman owned slaves. I didn't even know who Charles Stillman was. He could pass right in front of me, and I would still not know who he was. Well, what? Now they're going to want to change the name of the Stillman Middle School? Are they nuts? Washington, look at all the damn monuments of Washington going down. Washington cut a cherry tree. That's the only bad thing that he did. Cut down a cherry tree and had wooden teeth. And now they want to turn down the statues. That's crazy. Crazy.
He did own slaves, though.
Huh?
He did own slaves, though.
What? So because he owned slaves, you're going to discredit everything he did for this country as the first president of the United States of America? Sylvia, it's your fault.
Poor Sylvia.
Sorry, doctor. I had to run. It's a rock. It's just a rock. A rock. Doctor, si quema no. I don't know if you understand. Si quema no quema. Hey, my name is Brianna, and these hard times, I, together with other girls, we're helping people in need. If you guys in the comments know anyone in need, please let me know. Or Brianna, send me an inbox. Let me tell you, we have a lot of individuals that are in need right now. Dr. Wittenberg, if a person gets tested, no matter high risk or low risk, should you still quarantine the proper amount of days instructed? And I know doctor is not a doctor, but I guess we give our own opinions in regards to it. And I'll give mine first. My opinion is yes, please quarantine, Dr. Wittenberg.
Absolutely, because we don't know if we have it or not, and if we do, we could pass it on to another person who's vulnerable who could get very sick. So that's the thing. We're trying to protect other people, and also we're trying to flatten the curve. That's what people need to understand. You know, if ultimately by the time this is all over, 60 or 70% of us are all going to be exposed to it, many of us getting sick, that's okay. But we don't want all of us having to go to the hospital at the same time. So that's why we're flattening the curve. That's why we're trying not to expose too many people, so we can limit the number of people in the hospitals over a period of time. That we don't want to have everybody in there this summer.
Nope.
Hopefully that 50, 60%, maybe by February or March, there's been that many people who have been exposed and have been sick. And surely to goodness, there won't be that many of them in the hospital. But yes, you should wait that period of time, those 14 days, just so you don't give it to somebody else. I mean, imagine the guilt. Imagine the guilt if you don't stay at home and you continue with your life, and then you find out that 2, 3, 4, 5 people have been in the hospital. Someone even dies, and they probably got it by being exposed from you. Imagine having to live with that guilt for the rest of your life.
Saludos a Adrian, the Beast. Olazaran, politicians are the main cause for promoting racism. Yes, because there's such a divide. It's a tool that they use, Rodney. It's a tool, and I'm sorry, all these Democrats going out on there wearing that African stole that they wore. So what? They're going to wear a sombrero and a poncho for Cinco de Mayo? I mean, guys, it's all a publicity stunt. And I hate that a lot of people fall for that crap. I mean, they don't care. Pelosi, Trump, that other guy from New York, I can't even remember his name right now. They don't care about African Americans. They don't care about Mexicans. They care about getting elected and staying in power. It's a game. Republicans, Democrats, they're the same thing. They just pull on different strings. It's all a political game. Well, Augusta, as a taxpayer teacher, I understand your question. No teachers should not get paid if they're not working. I can guarantee you. Oh, come on. Teachers do such an amazing job, guys. I really don't like the, if they're not working, they shouldn't get paid. Let me tell you, if they put up 9 months with having to deal with your kids, I mean, gosh, they should get as paid as much as the superintendent does, maybe even more. Goodness gracious. Have y'all seen some of y'all's kids out there? Come on. You know them. They're not little angels. And stop yelling at teachers, telling them, oh, my child's an angel. It's not true. They're not. We know. Unfortunately, racism.
At 25, 30, and 35 at the same time, too.
Yes. Unfortunately, racism, prejudice will always exist until the end of time. Yes. Look, Cindy, and I've shared this before. All these little huerquitos mocosos out there that are saying, oh, Erasmo, why are you talking bad about The Rock and the little... Shut up. You don't know what racism is. I've lived through racism. Me. I've been shunned. Me. I felt the stench of racism. I lived it. I lived through the 70s, the late 60s, but not the 50s. I'm not that old. Why are whites referred to as white and not Irish Americans or British? Because they're white, Mo. Because they're white. We're Mexican. I hate when people are like, oh, well, we're not Mexican. We're, and they come out with these weird names, Chicanos and all that. I'm like, shut up. A Mexican is a Mexican. We're all Mexicans. That's okay. It's not a bad thing to be called a Mexican. It's not a bad thing to be called white. What type of behavior should teachers expect from students coming in? And how long will they take to get back into the routine, doctor? Any idea?
It'll take some time, because imagine it. I just remember what it was like after summer break. Now you're talking about students haven't been in school since March. They should expect some pushback, not wanting to follow rules, pushing limits, typical what children and adolescents do. And it will take a while to get back into the routine. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, they may get back into the routine, and then there we are having to close the schools again. We might be in that kind of situation. So we'll see. I mean, everybody just has to be patient and understand that this is going to be difficult for everybody. It's going to be difficult for teachers, administrators, counselors, students, parents. It's going to be hard for all of us.
It is. Yes, I eat menudo. In fact, I made good menudo for a white girl, my Lani. I love Lani. I love this girl.
I'm sorry, no menudo for me.
And I want to try some of your menudo, Lani. Love you, mi amor. both Hidalgo and Cameron County have surpassed 1,300s in infection rate. It's horrible. Not a good thing. Nice. Thank you, Mo. I like you too. If you're willing to do a pro bono visit, I'm. You have a lot of discrimination, my man, but I still love you. En los late 60s and 70s, había muchos negros para el puerto. Oh, yeah. No, there were. It's just the way. I mean, I don't know. I didn't experience racism here ever in Brownsville. I did experience everywhere else. I mean, it's the way it is. Of course, grading papers isn't that would cause anxiety in teachers. Of course not. I only see my mom through window. It's horrible. It is very hard. And it's very, very depressing. Let me tell you, my prayers for anyone that has any family member at the nursing home. My goodness gracious, I just don't know what I would do. Even with 150 students at the high school level, it's madness. How can I schedule an appointment? Dr. Wittenberg is at Heartfelt Minds Counseling. They do have a social media page. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, and you can either call or text our phone number.
And we'll put the phone number out there. Do you have the quick number on or do you know your phone number, Doctor?
It's 434-4475.
You know, it's funny because now, you know how before we used to be so good at knowing numbers and stuff, but now all you do is just press on the phone, press. I barely know my dad's number, and that's because he had the phone before smartphones. But I don't know my sister's number. I don't know my other siblings' phone number.
I have two sisters. I don't know their phone numbers. I have to look for their name.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's exactly what I do. Patients have not been provided with basic sanitizing materials like sanitizing gel. Dino, again, I feel for everyone and anyone that has individuals on there, it is stressful, anxiety. It must be a living hell. I mean, my prayers again. I don't think there's much anyone can do, but have they been negligent? Have they they messed up? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I say what I know, and what I know is that Fox Hollow has been expedient in regards to giving out numbers. I don't know if that they've learned their lesson in regards to what happened to the other nursing homes, but in regards to what happens in there, I do not know. I'm praying that they're doing the right thing. That's all we can do. You can always take your loved ones out of the nursing home. I don't know if you can take them out now. I think right now they are in strict state ordered lockdown.
Yeah.
I don't think so, Mike. I mean, I might be wrong. There's always that one in the family that ain't doing anything. This is so true. There's always that one tío, that someone that can, it doesn't have, let him take care. But right now, I'm not sure again, but I think that they're on very, very strict lockdown. That's why classrooms and several people gathered are high risk. The reason I gave you all the information was a comparison to the government positions. It's amazing that 1/3 of the population in Brownsville is at below. It's horrible, Maida. Horrible levels. It is horrible. It is sickening, especially with the percentage of rates that are being given out to teachers. Teachers would be very frustrated, very mad, 100%. You speaking up is a great asset. Thanks for sharing my video previously. Erasmo, Frank, I love you, man. I love you. And again, I love the videos that our community is throwing out there. Anything to bring awareness, anything, to be a positive for our community. I want to share. And that's one of the reasons why we want to have as many of the, outstanding community members like Dr. Wittenberg here come onto our show and, say he's out there for us. Yes, of course, make everyone dumber. Let me say, Cindy, I still love you, Cindy. Getting tested tomorrow for surgery. Oh, my prayers, Shina, keep me posted. All my prayers, love you. Let's not listen to the dying. Let's listen to the dying. Again, yes, I love to hear truthful news. Keep up the good work, Erasmo and Frankie. Love you. Many companies have an EAP program. Use it. Yes. So what is
definitely true?
What if instructions were otherwise because of low risk? I don't care. Stay quarantined, please. I remember your question. Please stay quarantined. Please, please, please. They are paid to come destroy area. They're crazy. I know what you're talking about those activists that come in. Hey, Frankie, I have a concern, but I didn't want to ask online. My friend's son works at Dirty Al's here in Brownsville. Her son came out positive COVID-19. She informed them on Friday morning, but shouldn't they be told the county? Again, guys, the county is being very, very slow in reporting numbers. I've shared numbers in regards that we received from Fox and the county is still at 13. We're at 25, guys. I mean, how long does it take? We had 3 deaths today. They're not going to be reported for the next week or two. 3 deaths. Guys, I'm sorry. We didn't learn about the infant passing away if it wasn't for Justice RGV, that little website, little social media site. Why is it that we're being very, very proactive in regards to sharing information and letting people know that it's not a little viejito, not an old people virus, old people disease. Young people succumb to it. Children succumb to it. 21-year-old passed today. And my prayers for the family and for all the loved ones out there. La Piedra! Same goes for the right-wingers. Yes, 100%. And Luis, and that's one of the things I don't want to get confused. I don't want to get confused from because then all these little crazy people that are coming in from out of town, they're out of towners, and they're all hyped up because of a stupid rock, and then they come out. Oh well, you love Trump. I love Trump because he sent me a damn check. That's why I love Trump. He sent me a check, and I'll love him even more when he sends me another check. But do I like the Republicans or the Democrats? I don't like either. I tell people, don't vote party, vote platform. Vote for that individual that you think is actually going to make a difference in your life. Doesn't matter. The Democrats here are horrible in Cameron County. Horrible. The Republicans are just stupid here in Cameron County. Stupid. And I'm talking about the parties, the party leadership. The party leadership here in Cameron County should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. And I'm not talking about my friend Jared. I love Jared. Jared, I love you, Jared. Not about you. About the crazy political machine. Sorry, Jared. Unfortunately, you can't prevent protesters from other cities coming in and protesting. No, but who wants them? I don't want people coming in from San Antonio and Chicago trying to dictate to our mayor that we elected, to our city commission that we elected. The people from San Antonio and Chicago, they didn't elect our city commission. Why is the city commission so adamant in listening to them? It's crazy. Listen to us. Change the street back to Fronton. That's what you should do. Tell us about Tenasca and the $65 million that they pocketed. Where's my $65 million? Doctor, supposedly hot weather neutralizes COVID-19. Is this true? DJ, I'm going to say, I'll answer this and say, no, we don't know. This is a novel virus. We don't know all the ins and outs about it. You hear one time they say yes, one time they say no, one time they say yes. So we don't know. We're learning as we go. Dr. Wittenberg?
Well, look what's happening to us right now. It's pretty hot, and we had a spike, and other countries have been in the same situation. So I would agree. The answer is no.
Charlie, get off the meds. The unsubscribed ones, the unprescribed ones. Idiot. Most of all the persons who wrote the Constitution were owners of slaves. So they're going to get. Well, that's what they want to do, Cindy. That's what they want to do. They don't care about my First Amendment rights. They don't care that I could have an opinion, and if I express it, I'm a piece of crap. I'm an FU Erasmo because you express your opinion. You have to give up your rights because your Second Amendment right is crap. That's what they want to do. They want to get rid of every single right that we have. They want to abolish the Constitution. I'm not going to let them. I'm a constitutionalist. I love my Constitution. And I love.
I saw a good question. Do you believe desensitization could help the pandemic? A local doctor believes exposure could impact immunity. I disagree. I think having so much exposure out there is causing anxiety in a lot of people. And by the overexposure can get people to be too comfortable, too relaxed. And that's exactly what has happened. And people are going out now and they're not adhering to the guidelines and not wearing masks. And I think that's I don't think this desensitization would take place. I think it would have the opposite effect, really.
Were teachers not working? Please tell me when this happened. I lost the questions. There's a lot of questions, guys. Sorry. Here. Parents don't teach discipline at home. An iPad is the parent. Just watch those 12-year-olds getting pushed inside carts. But the parents are at any given Walmart. Teachers go through a lot of attempting to discipline of our little angels. They also, exactamente, it's crazy. And again, it's a catch-22 for our poor teachers because you can't yell at a student. You can't send a note home. You can't express any type of discipline for. You can't send them to ISS. You can't do anything because you're going to have the parent at the school the next day wanting to have conference with you, and they're going to eat up like 2, 3, 4 of your days, and they're going to be telling you my son is an angel. He's an angel, and it's not true. They're not angels. Not all of them. They're not. Parents don't realize it. Maida, you're right. They're not. Some of them are angels of Satan.
Doctor, have you seen? You previously spoke about domestic violence. You previously spoke about an increase of substance abuse. Has there been an increase in children getting abused physically because of them actually being a lot at home a lot more? Is that something that we should expect, or something that you have heard lately due to this pandemic?
Unfortunately, that's true. I do have interns who work with children who have gone through abuse, and they have seen a rise in cases. And mostly that was happening during the shelter in place, and that has decreased a little bit. But overall, yes, we've seen that increase because of the increased level of stress, and people being at home with their kids more and not being accustomed to that, and having the stress of teaching them as well, helping them with their schoolwork and distance learning. That has contributed to that.
The mom of the newborn, correct? She passed away. No, it's different cases. Different cases. The baby passed away from a mom, and the case this morning was from another case. 1,200 to 12. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, sorry, guys. Hola, Erasmo, ¿cómo andas? Can you send a shout out to my brothers, Michael Davila and Michael Lara? I'm done with my 90-day trial of 2020. How do I cancel my membership? You can come to Brownsville and leave the ranch of Harlingen. Love you, Doreen. Stop screaming.
While we're doing the shout outs, I got to do a shout out to my wife, Jessica, and my son, Victor.
Hey, Jessica and Victor.
Love you.
Drangy, you look tired. Okay, no. Get off, Danny, if this bothers you so much, Papa. God only knows that the final 6 months. Yeah, guys. And let me tell you, one of the things that I've always lived with is, hope for the best, but expect the worst. That's the way we should live everything. Just make sure that you're ready for anything that might come your way. But guys, look and I've shared this a lot of times out there. I've had my little situations. I've gone through certain processes. I've taken a fall here. I've taken a fall there, but I always pick myself back up. Guys, this too shall pass. We're going to overcome. We're going to be more than conquerors. But guys, if we slip, if we fall, just make yourself, you dust yourself off and get back up. Move forward. Ontan los pants, suit pants. I've actually got jeans on today. Cindy Amadano, did the mom die too? No, separate cases, Anna. Child passed away from one mom on Thursday, and then the mom passed from another child born. I know it's complicated. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't want to give too many details because, again, I want to respect the privacy of the family members. But again, to the family members out there, my love, my heart, my prayers. It's a horrible, horrible thing. Are they going to remove George Washington from the dollar bills? He also had slaves. See, that's part of the problem, Tom. I mean, look, guys, Benjamin Franklin owns slaves. So I want everyone out there that has a Benjamin Franklin bill out there, send it my way. I will take care of it. Please. And Andrew Jackson too. He was an SOB. Send me the 20s too. And look, I'm sorry. Grant was horrible. Send me the $50 bills as well. I'll take them all of them. At this point, I'll take the ones too. Ana Lidia Sanchez, today you're hurting the doctor's ears. Love you, Martin.
Mine too.
Hey, Martin, have you seen those numbers for Los Fresnos, brother? Not a good thing. Ana Lidia, 21-year-old. Ana Lidia, 21-year-old, I think is a BS. The excuse, she was weak from birth. I'm not following. Sorry. This is bogus. Get lost. Yeah, you tell him, Danny. Oh my God. Yes, I had a runaway come to my house asking for a safe haven. I'm not following. Send a hug to my father. No, I know what you're doing, Felipe. Thank you, Cindy. Love you. Thank you for clarification. Again, yes, I'll try to clarify as much as possible. Again, I don't want to give out too much information. What, Jessica? What? Hi, Frankie. You look sleepy. Lily, you're very beautiful. We have entered level 6 of Jumanji. Really? Which avatar am I? I hope I'm the cute chick. Can I say chick? Is that okay? Or is that sexist?
Come on.
Buddha Chumba Wamba. He takes it. You remember Chumbawanga, doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah? You take a vodka drink, you take a lager drink. You take a lager drink. You're daddy boy, daddy boy, daddy boy. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Good evening, Mayor Mendez. Oh, Mayor Mendez here? Hey, Mayor Mendez. Thanks for the positivity of this stream. Oh, thank you. We need more of this. Keep staying awesome. Love you, man. If someone is experiencing anxiety, stress, and depression, never be afraid to reach out for help. Amen. There's a lot of
Thank you, Ava.
stigma, doctor, out there. Dr. Winterberg, a lot of no, man. We all have those little dips, right?
Absolutely. Counseling is not just for the severely mentally ill. Anybody who's just going through a rough patch, and that happens to everybody from time to time. Even us counselors, we have our own therapists.
For you all.
Yes, of course.
Doreen, please. Let the hubby back in the house, Doreen. Let the hubby back in the house before he starts suffering from anxiety. Doreen, be good to your hubby. Harriet Tubman. Yeah, I love Harriet Tubman. Yes, not good. I know. Sorry, man. My prayers for Los Fresnos people. Martin, I love my Los Fresnos people, man. I love my Los Fresnos school district. I love my Los Fresnos basketball players. I love my Los Fresnos students. I love Los Fresnos. It's like my second home. Not really. Doctor, thank you for attending our craziness. Yes, thank you, Doctor. I know we're a little bit on the rough side, but we're here. Is my friend Felipe here? I don't know. I haven't seen him. Abuse was prevalent before COVID-19. CPS and Tropical are worthless and will actually argue to avoid addressing the case. I know from experience, they buddy up with parents to avoid the extra work. Believe me, I reported habitual high parents before, and they say child is not in danger. They hire little kids that don't know anything. I think that happens everywhere. Sorry about that. Happy Father's Day. Mayor Mendez in the house. Mayor Mendez, God bless you, man. You have a hard job, brother. You have a hard job, and I know that Mike is probably going to make another meme of me and you out there, but I love you, bro. I love you, bro. Love you, Mayor Mendez. Not bro. Sorry, Mayor Mendez. Your avatar is Jack Black. I like Jack Black. I'll take that. Thank you. Happy Father's Day, Yana. You're late, Frankie. Hi, Lorena. Hello, Mayor. Love you, my Mayor. My chest feels like exploding from anxiety, especially at night. What's good for nighttime anxiety, doctor? A hot toddy?
Well, hot tea would be good. Chamomile tea. A lot of people find it a peppermint tea. Actually, peppermint's a home remedy. And also aromatherapy I would recommend. So if you have some scented candles or a little bit of essential oils to spray on your pillow, that can be helpful. But I would recommend, chest feels like it's going to explode from anxiety. You should seek some help from a mental health professional.
Well, one of the things that I used to do whenever I suffer from a racing mind. My mind's just racing. It does. But believe it or not, guys, I know it's hard to believe. No, I'm serious. But my mind races a lot. You know what used to help me to slow it down? I would make a tea from orange tree, the naranjas, árbol de naranjo, orange tea, orange leaf tea. I'd make that. Man, knocks me out and it slows my thinking. It works for me. I haven't done it in a while because I tend to throw out all my anxiety at 9 o'clock every night for some reason.
Another little coping technique that I would recommend is doing something that's that requires you to do a lot of motor skills without thinking about it, like maybe playing Candy Crush or something like that. So you're focused in on that and not so worried about your thoughts.
Yes. Let's see. Erasmo y los gatos. My babies are amazing. My babies are doing very good. Yes, Tikka. Do you have a tattoo? Are you actually that girl? Guys, is this like the love connection now? It might be. I know. Love you, man. You are not weak for asking for help. Exactamente, Mayra. Doctor, my daughter was recently released from the hospital. Thank God, not from COVID. She's home recovering, and we have been quarantined since April and only go out for essentials. How can we continue to protect ourselves? I'll help answering this question. Again, guys, if you feel that you will be a lot safer by staying in home, staying sheltering in place, do it. I mean, but do not exclude yourself completely from the world. Go out, do a little walking, a little jogging, around your house. It's going to be okay. Maintain social distancing, wear proper face coverings. You're going to be okay, Elsa. I mean, don't my take, and I'm going to pass it on, Dr. Wittenberg. Don't live in fear. Don't live in fear.
Sure.
Just change your life.
Avoid large crowds if you can. If you can do curbside or have items delivered to your home, that would be much better. But yeah, exactly. Stay at home as much as you can. Avoid the large crowds. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Physical distance.
Husband gas. Yeah. Oh, me to ADHD. Be good, Cindy, to me. Use love to have me a hot patty. I don't think I want to hot patty anything with you, Benjamin, but I don't know. Give me an inbox. I might. Cindy, I know, so sad. Complications can arise once you get it. Besides the depression itself or loss, not all the bodies take it the same way. This virus is very unpredictable. It's true. And that's the danger. It's not the flu, and years are needed to analyze deeply that it does, including long-term complications. 100%. We completely agree. All night, chamomile tea is the best, Doreen. Let the hubby back in the house, Doreen. Please. Elisa, ¿cómo estás, Elisa? I love you more, Elisa. I do. I promise. Could you please explain the difference between direct contact compared to a distant contact with COVID patients? I don't know.
Community spread and linked to previous cases. I don't know what he's asking.
If I'm reading the question correctly, I mean, just the distance that you're between somebody who has the virus. I mean, those your saliva and your mucus from when you sneeze or when you talk or sing or whatever. The further you are away from the person, the less likely you're going to be exposed to it. Of course, if they're wearing a mask, that's going to protect you, and if you're wearing a mask, that's going to protect them.
Yes, very good. Shout out, Elisa. Love you. Me too. I know, guys. God bless your sister, Chill. Yes, it's me, April. Dr. Wittenberg, any last words?
Yes, try to avoid all or nothing thinking. So we don't need to panic and hoard toilet paper and bottled water and not leave the house. But we also don't need to just take caution to the wind and go out in large crowds without a mask. We got to stay in the middle. We need to stay healthy and safe and follow those CDC guidelines. Avoid the crowds, wear a mask if you have to go out, social distance, physical distance, and wash your hands and try not to touch your face.
Please. Frankie, last words.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time. I think it's very important for us to really address issues regarding our mental health. I believe that's many it's something that is overlooked, especially during a crisis or during a time of uncertainty like this. So thank you so much for taking out your time. It's very important for the community to hear issues that are going on and also to give tips of how we could address anxiety and things like that. So thank you so much for your time, Doctor. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much,
guys. Everyone out there, stay safe, maintain social distancing. Be cautious. I mean, don't shut yourself off from the world entirely. There's other platforms, other means. Continue to communicate with individuals, and if, for goodness sakes, if you have any fear, any anxiety, any stress, talk to someone. Don't bottle it up inside. Reach out. There's a lot of people here in the city of Brownsville that care. I mean, contact Dr. Wittenberg out there at Heartfelt Minds Counseling. Hook him up. I mean, he's on this little thread. Send him an inbox message, and he'll direct you toward the contact information. But again, guys, reach out. Don't leave stuff bottled up. We need you. We need you in the community. We need you to be a part of the solution and, not a part of adding on to the problems we already have. So, pórtense bien. Guys, we love you. We care about you. Stay safe. Stay woke. Be good to each other and be good to me. God bless.